Yeah,
They-
no, Karen, Mike, Brian, all those guys, they
Yep.
really have a strong association because some of the associations have a better participation than others.
Right.
Southwest seems to be one of the bigger ones.
Yeah. Well, and it should be big. I know a couple of the old shows, if I heard right, the East and West Coast shows, they're not holding them this year, I don't believe.
Correct. Yeah, they pivoted the East Coast show to the Edupalooza,
Oh, I didn't hear
and
that.
it's more just pure education based.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Is that
I mean,
out east? I know.
yeah, I mean, think about it. It's tough. This time of year is really kicked off with leagues. You
Yep.
just went to Bowl Expo a couple months ago, so it's not like a ton has changed, and it's hard enough to get out the first time. So I think we've seen some of the membership dwindle, and they just said, "Hey, let's just pivot to this education first approach."
Yeah. I hadn't heard about that one. I'll have to look into that. When is that?
Usually mid October.
Yeah. They used to do it in Atlantic City. I went to it years
That's
ago.
where it is.
Is it still? They're just changing. Yeah. I had a book.
So
Yeah, I was out there about in 2012. I had written a book on the history of bowling that, fortunately for me, sold out in 2017. And I went to the East Coast show. That was one of the big first shows I went to kind of sell the book. And it was really cool. It was really cool.
yeah, I
Yeah.
wonder what you could fetch on eBay now that they're sold out. You can't get them. Probably pretty high
There's some.
price.
I know Amazon still has some. I see them out there every so often,
Mm.
and I'm sure they're used or whatever. I mean, we sold.
Signed copy could be worth a couple $100.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We sold. I sold about 3,500 of them myself. So, and
Wow.
I another about four, couple thousand that Amazon sold. So that was about another 500 or so that Amazon sold. So that was
Yeah,
good.
that's really cool.
Yeah.
So, Mark, tell me a little bit about maybe where you see things going. Obviously, we talked about the trends you've seen. Maybe
Yep.
some about the trends that you see progressing or in the future, continuing, changing. Next 12 to 18 months, what do you see on the horizon?
Well, that's a great question. From our standpoint, and I think I told you the other day, we have created a visual media awards program that we're starting here in 24 for things that have been done in 23. We want anybody who does a podcast, a video thing, online thing to send and submit. We need them to be members. We want them to go to bowlingmedia.org to
Hmm.
sign up and become a member, because you got to be a member to be entered. But
Right.
that's from our standpoint, that's the thing is we want to grow our membership. We want to grow our presence. We want to grow basically our relevance, if you will, in the bowling world from that standpoint. The string pin thing, because I think right now, I think the case there in the next 12 to 18 months for that, I think, is how many more centers, both new and current, go to the string pin format. Do the interesting thing the traditionalists are afraid that string pin will be the only game in town someday, which I don't believe.
No, I
Um,
don't think so.
I
Yeah,
don't either.
it's
You're
it's
gonna,
it's different enough. Yeah, I mean, there's a different
yeah,
enough
and I
play
think
with the strings.
USBC, yeah, and USBC was great when they did all their testing, and now have certified a separate level
Right.
of stuff with, and that was the way to go. I think that's the way to go, and that way
Hmm.
people can choose. Now they're trying to figure out if there needs to be some kind of average adjustment. I know they're doing some bowler tests here in the Dallas area right now.
I've
Um,
always heard one to two pins
Yeah, it'll be
per
interesting. Years
piece.
ago, when they did the sport bowling, I don't know how familiar you are with the sport bowling stuff that they did a number of years ago, and they had an average adjustment there. That one was a little more. I think that was about 5 pins, if I remember right.
Mm.
And I don't even know if they still use that or not, but so it's good that they're doing that. But I just see the main trend is I think you're going to see more string pin. I'm hoping it's more in new facilities, or I'd like to see facilities that have a split perhaps, and you have some 10 regular free fall and
Mhm.
some string pin, so that maybe you can attract, because as we mentioned the other day, the key to me in success for bowling centers, you have to have that mix. It can't be all entertainment, it can't be all competition, it's got to
Right.
be some kind of mix. The model that seems to work, I know here in Dallas, is kind of leagues Monday through Thursday, and then a couple scattered leagues on the weekend, and then a lot of parties and tournaments and
Yep.
open play and that on the weekends. And I think that seems to be
Mhm.
the success. What a lot of them have said have been successful. But the other thing that I think would be good, and I'm hoping this continues the trend, is the growth in the number of bowlers that are out there and the number of people who convert from just casual bowling to some kind of regular bowling.
Mhm.
Doesn't have to be hard nosed competition, but just something that is regular in some way.
Mhm.
It can be every other week. It can be once a month. It can be something. And what can we do to get to grow our numbers again? And I do think that the fact that they have grown the last 2 or 3 years, I think, is testament that they can continue to grow. So I think
Mhm.
that's the more exciting thing for the industry is that it's come out of the pandemic even better than it went in, and with some heartache in between, obviously.
Hey, did you like this video? Great. We make 10 of them a week. Subscribe to learn more and keep learning about what's working in the industry. Talk to you then.